Hey guys, welcome to the Positive Experience Podcast, where we look at the good, the bad and the ugly in living your best life. Today's segment is on the H.E.A.D'S. The acronym stands for Health Experts and Disruptors. Let's dive in. Hey guys, how are you going? My name's Lecky Sisfer. I'm the host of the Positive Experience Podcast. And today my guest is Steve Christiano. Steve, how you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
That's the way. Now, Steve's sent me in a bit of a spiel, and Steve's a personal trainer and health coach up the road at Crunch Fitness in Hoppers Crossing, specialises in hypertrophy training, and also works within EliteVitality, who are a company who help others improve their lifestyle and physique and help businesses owners within the fitness industry. So today's conversation is a lot on health today. Steve is a H.E.A.D'S guest, which is Health Experts and Disruptors. And so I just want to thank you for your time today. And as you can see, I'm still pretty nervous with hosting the podcast today. So we'll get through it and have a great conversation for you guys to tune into. So, Stephen, our mutual friend is Avi. And Avi enjoys the gym. You train sort of alongside each other down at Crunch. But before we get to the training, let's go back to the beginning and maybe start with a bit of a snapshot on the upbringing, your childhood. Tell us a little bit at the start.
Well, I've grown up here in the western suburbs. I've always had that sporty history in my past. Like, I've always loved playing sports, but I was never into the gym. I was a big introvert growing up. I was always shy. Making friends probably wasn't my strongest point, but I love playing sports. So anything from swimming, taekwondo, soccer, football, you name it. I was always like to give it a try. Uh-huh. But it wasn't until I turned 18 where my best mate actually forced me to go to the gym with him. He wanted a partner. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Gym buddy.
Know, but yeah, just a gym buddy. But it was from then and just like, oh, I like this. This is good. And it actually built my confidence outside of the gym as well. I was still an introvert, but I was talking a little bit more. I was getting a little bit more out there, trying different things. And yeah, built me into the person I am today. So I kind of have him to thank for it, really.
Nice. And so you're a product of the western suburbs. So raised around Hoppers Crossing, went to school, finished high school.
Yeah.
And then did you continue on with your education here in Melbourne?
Yes, I did. But my first passion was graphic design. So completely on the opposite end of the scale, pretty sedentary job. And I love that creativity side. But after I studied down at Swinburne for 2 years. And after that, I started getting bored. Like, again, I had the sporty history. So I was like, I want to be a little bit out. I'm tired behind a computer all the time. Yeah. So for me, I thought I want to have a break from it all. So like, I'm going to stop this, take a gap year and go travel and work overseas for a bit. But being brought up in an Italian household, like my mum was against that, didn't want me to leave. And then she gave me the idea, why don't you try personal training? So like, I'll give it a shot. Like I'd rather take the gap year, but I can give it a shot. Like she goes, you're always in the gym.
Yep.
And it started there. I thought to start off slow, I'll try the online with the Australian Fitness Network.
Okay.
And I actually enjoyed it. Like, I'm not one to enjoy studying, but I actually enjoyed that. And then my passion grew even further to learn more about what I can achieve, not with myself, but also to help other people.
Yeah. So, great. So you were at graphic design, and then you sort of started throwing up some question marks. And then from there, you decided to go down the personal training pathway and health coaching, which is awesome. Before we get into that too deeply, the situation at the moment, say personally, like is there a big heavy dog that you take, like hobbies away from the coaching? I just want to get a rounder view of what Steve gets up to in a normal week. So are there any kids at home? Are there pets that you have? You might be the cat man.
I'm more of a dog man myself. We've got 2 dogs. We've got a boxer cross Staffy, who looks like a Labrador, really, but and a small little poodle cross something.
Yeah.
I'm still living at home. No kids, but did get engaged mid last year, so currently in the middle of all the wedding planning and all that. So still got plenty of time. Date's probably is mid next year, so still got plenty of time to do that. But me myself, like, I don't know, I'm pretty a laid-back dude. Like, even though I've had the sporty history in the past, I don't do any other sports or hobbies at the moment.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm pretty much full in like the gym and upskilling myself.
Cool.
But I do like to still watch sports and mainly football. So waiting for the season to come back in.
Who's your team? Doggies.
No,
Collingwood.
Collingwood.
Oh no, you're on the dark side.
Yes, it's out there.
Okay. Cool.
But other than that, it's just I like to just be relaxed and just have time to myself. Really, like as I said previously, an introvert, so I like my time as well. So that's how. Yeah, like
congratulations. So you've dropped on the knee. You're going to be joining the handcuff gang.
Yes,
the rest of us soon.
Yes,
so congratulations.
Thanks.
And so I can understand what's ahead of you. So plenty happening.
Oh, yeah.
The final question I have in this portion of the chat is the aha moment. So you kind of touched into graphic design. It kind of wasn't really burning the candle too brightly for you. So was there a specific story where, man, you were like, you're up late and you were just thinking, man, I'm over it. I do want to follow my passion, which is health. Could you just tell us a little bit more about that when the light bulb came on? Yeah,
well, as I said, like I kind of transitioned into it naturally through mum keeping me home, really. Yeah. But I don't know, for me, I was always, I had that passion there being out and about. And my first initial thought was, if I continue this, I can spend all the time I want in the gym, when really that's not the case.
Yeah.
But it was more, I had a bit of a lazy background for myself where I like to do things, but I kind of needed that push. So after I got qualified and I could get a job, again, I wanted that gap year. So I took some time off and I started going backwards. So it was like, I'm qualified, but I'm not into that anymore. Like, I was, but there was nothing actually to sort of keep my drive there. I was in holiday mode still. So, and it wasn't until my business partner actually approached me, and funny, I've known him since primary school, but we're just never in the same friends group. So he actually approached me and was asking if I was interested in speaking with him to sort of get my foot in the door. And again, something that was very uncomfortable for me. I never really had a conversation with him, and me and him were complete opposite sides at school. And I was like, I don't know if I want to associate myself with this guy, but I was actually happy that I just took that leap of faith. And just that conversation with him actually changed my mindset of everything. And that was like, well, for me, it was my aha moment. Like, I need to start taking every opportunity that gets laid out in front of me. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep missing out, and I'm just going to be falling back down in the trenches.
Man, awesome. So that's a perfect transition to. So that was a snapshot of where you were, and the journey of how you've arrived to this current point in time. So, Stephen, at the moment, what would your main driving passion be? So, very interested in training in the gym, hypertrophy, sort of getting sort of sculpty, like body sculpting sort of stuff. Is that sort of the primary driver for where you are now, like in coaching your clients? Or give us an idea of what gets you out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, well, it is my main passion. Like, I love hypertrophy. I love bodybuilding. I've competed myself. I love that whole aspect, and I have a big respect for it. But being in this area, I know not everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, and a lot of people are scared to be that big. That frightens them to actually touch a weight. So being probably 75% of my client base is general population. So I also like to help improve just their general lifestyle. Okay, I want them to be able to be moving. Like, a big passion for me, or my number one goal in life now, is I still want to be moving by the time I'm 70, 80, 90. Like, I don't want to be reliant on my kids or my grandkids to take me everywhere or taking something off the top shelf. I want to still be functional and being able to do everything myself and being accountable to myself. So, and I like to approach that to the people I talk to and my clients as well. Like, yes, it's good to look good, good for the beach or the festival, whatever it is.
Aesthetics.
But exactly, and but at the same time, we want to keep this as a long-term goal, not a short-term, and actually think a couple of years in advance, not just what we're going to look like 3 months down the track.
Man, that's really, that excites me when you say those sorts of things, because that's not part of sort of the mainstream conversation, like looking ahead, planning for the future, future-proofing the joints and the muscles so that you can do things like travel on a plane as a 70-year-old and not need a lot of help.
Exactly.
Someone like a Peter Attia is a doc, and one of his things is this thing called Centenary Games, where he trains to ensure that by 100 he's still able to, 3-point stand up off the floor and be able to travel and just future-proof his older self. So, I think that's a really good pat on the back for that sort of perspective that you hold. That's awesome. So, given that that's your main passion right now, how would you plan your day, your week, your month? Like, how do you manage? Is there an online project management system that you use, or do you have a team behind you? You mentioned your partner that you work together with.
Yeah. Well, he's business partner / mentor. He's helped me from the beginning. And we've gone through a few different things, and he's really big on mindset, and that's something I knew absolutely nothing about. I never actually thought about it, but especially in business terms, it comes in really helpful.
Awesome.
And basically what we're doing now is reverse engineering. So we sort of visualize where I want to be, where I see myself in, let's just say, a year's time. So I'll jot that down and then say, all right, if I want to be there, what do I need to do every month to make sure I reach that goal? So reverse engineer until the present day.
Yep.
And then what I actually do, I've got a whiteboard set up in my room where I've put down 4 different tasks that I must complete every day.
Yep.
And each task is set a score. So if I'll put something that's going to better myself, that's going to better my business. Well, actually 2 for 2 really. So the things that's going to better myself is going to be a lower score because I do that naturally anyway.
Okay.
But again, just that accountability to make sure that I don't have that off day myself. I mean, we all do that at some point.
Yep.
And the things that's going to better my business and help me get closer to that goal are worth higher points. So the things that are going to take a bit more time or I'm not actually keen on doing, like making phone calls or getting consultations booked in, like all the background stuff.
The tough stuff, yeah.
And if I win my week, if I get enough points to win my week, I get a reward. And I told my partner this, I didn't tell her at the start, but she's not a fan of it. But if I don't win my week, I don't get to see my partner over the weekend because that's our time where it's like work's done and we're just literally have our time together.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can't be serious. Like,
playing with fire there, big fella.
Exactly. So I've got to make sure I win my week to actually see her. Because if I say, no, I can't see you, I didn't win my week. She's
risk reward there.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So it's a drive to make sure I do what I need to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
But even every day, like something, again, my mentor he didn't tell me I need to do this, but we've always had conversations about it. But cold showers in the morning, I've seen like with your post, with your ice baths.
Yeah.
And that really, that sort of gets me started for the day. Really, it makes me a little bit more aware, especially with the early mornings, but also meditation, which I was never really fond of. And my mentor is really big on it. And I was just like, it's not for me.
This hocus pocus?
Exactly. Yeah. But over the months and months of him nagging me to try it out, I finally did. And it's not an easy thing to do, and look, I don't exactly know too much about it. Like, he can explain it so much better than I can.
Okay.
But
start somewhere.
Yeah, it's just because I always say I don't have time. It's like 5-10 minutes of your day. Like, you can find time. Like, even if you have to wake up earlier. So, and that's what I do. I wake up a bit earlier. Yeah. 5-10 minutes. I'll take that meditation time. You actually told me to download an app, Sam Harris.
Yep.
And he sort of talks you through it, and it's more like guided meditation, and I found that worked a lot better than me just sitting there trying to meditate myself because I just could not get into that state.
Yeah.
But the guided meditation was a good stepping stone for me, and I actually noticed like I felt so much better, and I just like all right, let's get started. Today's going to be a good day.
Yeah, it launches you into your day. So on that, does that mean you're a good morning person, or you're a night owl and you sort of struggle out of the bed in the morning?
No, I've used to be a night owl, but I'm a morning person now. Like, a sleep in for me 7 o'clock. It feels good.
Yeah, okay.
So,
good.
but like there are some mornings where the night before was a bit later than I would hope for, but I find that those cold showers and the meditation make a big difference and keep me going.
So to make a transition, we're going to ask about a particular setback that you may have suffered, like in your training where you're busting your guts and then you tore a tendon or you suffered an injury. Can you give us an idea of, or maybe it was, as you're personally developing into some new things and you're taking on new challenges, what have you learned about yourself in the last, say, 6 months that if it was an injury or if it was a personal development that, you've drawn an awesome lesson out of it?
Well, I've been fortunate enough not to have such a serious injury that set me back in anything.
Oh, wow.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
But a personal setback for me was, always trying to improve my business and develop it. And pretty much you find these things out as time goes. It's the only way you're going to find the little problems within your business. But I got comfortable. My business was going really, really well, and I got comfortable. I took my foot off the pedal, and I just thought, I'll just enjoy this. But I got too comfortable, and before I knew it, earning really good money, I was almost barely making rent. So, and that was my big wake up call. It's bad. I don't regret doing that, but it was a big wake up call to make me realize I can't just get comfortable. There's always some improvement or something new that I can take on board. So that was a tough point, especially during that time. It was where I was getting some investment property as well and starting a new business. The bank wouldn't allow me to do that, so I had to keep my old jobs as well. So overall doing 3 jobs, 2 jobs, running a business, and also trying to compete as well was a massive stress point.
Yeah. Wow.
But it made me realise that I need to have all these foundations to actually keep this business running while I'm trying to focus on doing everything, all my other personal matters as well.
Yep.
And it kind of brought my business to where it is now, where it unfortunately did happen again, getting comfortable after holiday, taking some time off, going overseas.
Yeah.
But again, that was another stepping stone. All right, I need to sort of figure out where I can still enjoy myself, go on these holidays, have a good personal life, as well as keep running a successful business.
Yeah.
And that's when the online platform started coming on. So business never switches off. It's always running, and I can still have a lifestyle as well.
Man, awesome. So I guess it just sounds like that the setback was just trying to learn from behavioral patterns that you get back into, so we all have them. And I think recognizing the character flaw and trying to, tighten up those cogs there so that we avoid making the same mistakes over and over. So congratulations that you've actually observed that. If I was to ask you some quickfire questions, one of the quickfire questions that we have here is, what's something that's either good or bad in your life that you're grateful for? Like you've got a good example here about the business side of things. If to buy you some time, if it might be just simply a certain look, when you're training, you're trying to get to a certain, body fat percentage, or it may be a number on the scales, or it may be, a destination that you're trying to get to overseas. What would be something that, either good or bad that you're grateful for?
Well, I'm probably biggest thing that I'm more grateful for and I'm blessed for is actually for my business partner approaching me. Like, not only that's helped me run a business and that's something I'm really passionate for, but it's really developed me as a person where it's got me more confident both in and out of the gym. I'm slowly starting to develop my personal self as well, where I'm getting a bit more confident speaking to people. I'm also improving my knowledge. But basically it's taking that shy little kid and actually showing him out there to the world. Like, it's still a fair way to go.
Yep.
But doing little things like face your fear days, that really scary for me. But it just took me on to a whole new level business and personally as well.
I have to ask, what's his name?
Kyle Trainer.
Kyle Trainer, okay, awesome. And you went to school together, you said?
Yeah, from primary and high school, and never really
connected or anything like that?
Never like that. Probably a class here or two, but I was that shy little kid, and he was that guy that was always out there, like, get in trouble. And we both completely changed from then.
Jeez, okay, so big shout out to Kyle Trainer.
Shout out to Kyle Trainer.
So from there, could you tell us a moment. So what I mean by ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly, is what are you working on at the moment that no one sees, you know? So you've been sharing a lot about the personal development, getting up, having the cold blasts, you know, more about that. That sounds awesome. It might be a particular food strategy, you know, are you sort of making a pivot there to complement your training? You know, what's something that you're actively working on? Where's the ugly work happening?
Well, I never give something to my clients that I haven't experienced myself. So, like, I've tried that in the past, and then I've realised I don't know what I'm talking about. So I always wanted to bodybuild, but when I got asked that a client wanted me to train him, I'm like, I should do that first before I train you to do that. And same, like, next thing for me would probably be powerlifting, because I want to experience that before I train someone to do that as well.
Okay.
But something that I'm really working on at the moment is, like I was saying before, developing an online platform. So all that background work, trying to develop systems that work fluently, trial and error. Yeah. That's probably like the ugly side at the moment, because it's still in that working phase where we actually developing everything, tutorial videos and all that. So
man, awesome.
It's people think that online coaching, that's the easiest thing to do, but it's probably the most hardest thing ever. And if you've never done face-to-face coaching before, you shouldn't be doing online stuff. Yeah. It's a completely different ball game there.
I think you'd be under the microscope, you know, there's nowhere to hide, and you're putting it out there and it's out there forever.
Yeah, exactly. And something that that Kyle was telling me through our recordings is like, terminology is key. If you say the wrong thing, someone's just going to pick at you straight away.
Yeah. I think if you're coming from like an honest sort of position, and you're being earnest and, you know, being truthful about the way that you're presenting the information, I think people can pick up on that, especially when you're trying your best, you know. So I have to tip my hat to you. It's a big thing to put yourself out there.
Like, I never hide at all. Like, I'm trying to be as authentic as I can. Yeah. I'm never going to sort of bullshit my way saying I think I know the answer. If I don't, like, look, I don't know the answer. I can try find out, look around a bit, or I can refer you to someone else that might know the answer there to be able to help you out. Like, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to do what I can to help you get that answer.
Yeah, I think that'll win you a lot of friends, just that honesty, because it'll actually win you more support with someone who's asking the opinion, because then, you know, Stephen's going to tell me the truth here, because at least he can point me in the right direction. Yeah. So that's really helpful. If I go into the last phase of our chat today, which has been awesome, could you tell us a little bit about what you'd like to share with the audience? Is there a particular thing? You've mentioned the online platforms that you're building actively. You know, what would you like to share? Is there a particular presentation that you'd be putting out, or a place where people come see you speak? Or
well, I have previously done some workshops at Crunch. I am currently working on doing some further workshops. So the last one I did was a deadlift workshop, which went really successful. Yep. But something that's not only the general population for personal training, but within the business, Kyle, trainer within EliteVitality, has got a mastery program.
Okay.
That is not just for personal trainers, but all business owners or sole traders within the fitness industry. Okay. To help improve their business or build their business, as we have experts and speakers from not just the country, all around the country, but around the world, that come down to present, whether it's about training, nutrition, movement patterns, even business management, finances, mindset. Yep. We've got a bit of everything, and we've got a big community that are pretty much all family together, and everyone's very open and able to talk to each other, not just to the speakers or to Kyle, but to each other, because everyone helps everyone out there.
Yep, all the boats rise together.
Yeah, and on Instagram it's called EliteVitality Mastery. That's where people can sort of see what we've done in the past and be able to get in contact with Kyle himself, and if they're interested in like participating or being part of that family, like, we're more than welcome to. Well, we welcome everyone with open arms there. Cool.
So the handles there are elitevitality.com.au.
Yes.
And the handles are the same. So EliteVitality.
Yeah. I think the website at the moment is currently under construction, but I may be wrong. That might recently have been gone live.
Okay. Cool.
But everything pretty much goes through Instagram as well. So when the website does go live, it'll be in the bio there.
Okay, awesome. So we'll put all those links together in the show notes here. I guess the best way to reach people directly these days is just sliding into the DMs. So
That's it, yeah.
That's the way to hit up people. So Stephen Christiano, you got Kyle Trainer, big shout out to Kyle as well. The Elite Vitality guys, it sounds like there's a big mob there, and there's a mastery program that comes out. Is it quarterly, or is it sort of once every 2 years?
So it's a 12-month program, and every 3 months or so we'll have some guest speakers come down to actually have a round table meet.
Yep.
And we actually get the one-on-one conversation with them as well. Ask whatever questions you have to these experts themselves.
Yep.
And every quarterly we have a special guest. So one guy who I really admire, who really opened my eyes and changed my sort of perspective on training, was Dr. Jordan Shallow on Instagram, is the Muscle Doc.
Muscle Doc, okay.
He's a chiropractor and also a strength and conditioning coach, but just his knowledge, just half the information just goes over your head because he speaks terminology that you're not even familiar with.
Aussie guy?
No, he's from the States.
Okay.
He's been with us for a little bit now, but he opened my eyes, and I was just like, he's very well knowledged, very smart with the biomechanics.
Okay.
And I never applied that with my training, and it's a whole nother level of training with that, and it's, again, upskilled my business there as well.
Man, awesome. So is there any last comments that you have for us today, Stephen?
Maybe
perhaps tell us about the podcast. The name of the podcast, I know it's early days, but that's cool.
So the podcast is Kyle Trainer's podcast through Elite Vitality. It's called Pivotal Conversations.
Cool.
And it's not specific to training or nutrition, but it's just more about these pivotal conversations that he has with a lot of different experts or people in specific experts in specific areas.
Cool.
And just finding out a bit about them, what pretty much like what we're doing here, about talking a bit about where I've come from.
Yep.
Same thing with them, having that conversation to help show people like they're not alone, and that not only help them build their businesses, but build themselves personally as well.
Man, awesome. So I'd love to film a round 2, perhaps, down the track, 6-12 months. We'd like to revisit how today went and see how much growth we both have had in being in front of the camera and talking. So I appreciate your flexibility today. The segment today is called H.E.A.D'S, Health Experts and Disruptors. Check out Stephen Christiano and Kyle Trainer online at Elite Vitality. And that's us today for our Positive Experience podcast. Cheers, guys. See you next time.